Hi, my name is Steve Cody. I'm CEO and co-founder of Bunking. We're a marketplace that helps to connect solo enthusiasts for shared living, shared travel opportunities. Yeah, great question. So I have a son and daughter, 23, 26. They had this great idea. They were going to head off to a surf town at the other end of our country. They were going to go there for 3 months. They were going to work from there, live from there, surf from there, until they found out the cheapest place they could find was about $6,000 a month, which they could not afford. So I said, well, why don't you rent the place out? Then go to maybe Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, rent out the couches, rent out the extra rooms, and you get enough people in there, you could be living for free. And then my daughter was like, okay, well, what about axe murders and how do people pay? So she was very concerned about safety. So, so we spent some time, we went online and kind of looked around and said, if somebody's traveling or living with strangers, how do they know they're not axe murders? Like, how do people get vetted? And we really couldn't find anything. So that was kind of the first surprise. The next thing is my daughter's a TikTok influencer. So she's like, well, if I'm going to live with strangers for 3 months, I want to do collaborative living. And I'm like, what the hell is collaborative living? And she's telling me, this is where TikTokers get together. They live in the same house. They collaborate and create content. And I thought, wow, that's kind of a cool idea. And then my son, he's a product manager, so he's in technology. He's like, hang on a second, like I never have an office to go back to. So if I'm going to live with strangers for 3 months, I want them to be from tech. I want to learn and I want to mentor. So then I started thinking, okay, well, like this is like themed living. So basically, we had three problems, right? We had two people traveling to a destination, for 3 or 4 months, couldn't afford to live there because the rents were too high. They needed other people to share the cost. The other thing was safety. So, somebody traveling alone, like how do you do that safely? So we had to fix that problem and then create an opportunity where like-minded people could get together for shared living or shared travel. So really that's kind of just solving our own problem. That's how we came up with Bunking. Well, what we offer is somebody can come on Bunking and maybe they want to host what we call as a bunking pod. So think about a bunking pod as a group of people. So they can come on and create a pod. So, give it a theme. So it could be collaborative living for TikTokers. Create the rules that you want to have in that pod. So maybe one of your rules is you can't join my pod until you go to your bunking profile and have a successful criminal background check done, which I think we're the only ones that offer that, right? Which would give you the ultra safest experience. Maybe, a rule is you got to be triple vaxxed or there's no smoking. So the person would lay out the rules. After they're done that, they would curate the group of people they want to be with. So maybe it's age. So, between 20 and 30, maybe it's languages, maybe like just French, English, Spanish. Maybe they want night owls. Maybe they want, people that love to be really clean. So what are the characteristics of the people you want in the pod? Make that obvious. So when people are looking at it, they know whether they would fit in or not, whether it's for them. Then the host would lay out whatever sleeping accommodations they might have. So it could be a hammock, could be a floor, could be a top bunk of a bunk bed in a shared room, or it could be a private room. They'd set a nightly rate, the minimum stay, and and that's their bunking pod. So then it's available on Bunking. So you join a pod, when you're on Bunking, maybe you see their Bunking pod, in a Facebook post or something like that. You would go to the pod and, you'd look at the, like the theme, make sure that, this is something I'm interested in doing. Look at the rules, make sure that's something you're comfortable with. Then you would look at how the group is, how the host wants the group curated. And if you like all that, you could even check out the profile of the host or the other guests to make sure that, this is kind of people I want to hang out with for a week or two or a month or two. And then you would request to join. And when you request to join, the host would then look at your profile, look at your characteristics and say, you know what, I think you'd be a great fit for the pod. So then, you're in the pod. Once you're accepted into the pod, you get to meet everybody virtually through chat before you meet them physically. So if you think about, if you're meeting with a bunch of strangers, there's all this anxiety until the day you get there and, are they good people? Are they bad people? Like, what am I meeting? This way you actually get to start building relationships virtually before you even meet them physically. I think it's ideal for digital nomads. There's a couple of reasons they may want to use it. So maybe it's a bunch of tech people that want to live in the same place, right? So it's a great way to kind of attract and kind of filter out, making sure that's all tech people living in the same place. I had one lady in Europe that works she works North American hours. She wants to live with people that are working in relatively the same time zones, right? So that, when she goes to bed, everybody else is pretty much going to bed. We want to get like a really nice place down in Costa Rica on the beach because we're going to work and surf at the same time. But, maybe one or two of us can't quite afford that. I'll rent it, create a bunking pod, and make room for 5 or 6 other people. And we'll share the cost, or maybe I'll subsidize my rent by adding a little value. Or maybe I'll even teach surfing lessons after they work and stuff, and I'll make money with my pod. You just go on, you sign up, you fill in your profile as much as you'd like. If you fill it in completely, it's very much like a dating app because, we're trying to connect like-minded people. Totally free to build a bunking pod. The only time somebody pays is, if you do book a place as a guest, there's a 10% platform fee that you would pay on top of the booking fee. And that's really all we charge. For the host, there's no charge. The other thing we didn't talk about is wish pods. So you got a bunking pod, which is something people would book and pay for. But a wish pod is if you had a crazy ass idea, like you want to go live in an igloo for a couple of weeks, but none of your friends are really interested in living in an igloo for a couple of weeks. You could create a wish pod looking for 4 to 6 people to go to Alaska in January for a week. It'll be, $800 to $1,200 each. And you're not committed to the idea. People could sign up to the wait list. They're not committed to it. But if you ever decide to turn it into a bunking pod, now you've got a bunch of people that are already interested. So it's kind of a fun way to, if you ever had like this crazy idea, and there's other people in the world, I think, that would like to join that crazy idea. I mean, our plan is really to build this platform, make people's experiences of connecting just better, more meaningful. And I think if we can do that, people are going to do it more often. That's really, it's just about building this community, a lot of micro interests, and we're going to have we're having fun, and we're going to continue to have a lot of fun doing it. Get on bunking. No, but go check it out. And you know what? So we were in development for 1.5 years. We released our beta about 1.5 months ago. We're going to be in beta until about the end of this year. So we're live, but the whole idea for us right now, the most important thing is to get user feedback. So if anybody wants to go on, something annoys them, they don't like something, please tell us. This is what we need to know. And we've had excellent feedback. We're adding trip cancellation insurance, medical insurance. We're adding book now, pay later. We've improved the itinerary so you can add a video for each day. So anyways, the users are giving us amazing feedback, and we're responding as quickly as we can to that.